What's going on, guys? Bob Roche from RocheTechnology.com here with not only my review for you of the Acase Leather Case cover for the iPad 2nd and 3rd generation, but also with a monstrous can of Acase juice. Thought some of you guys would find that, entertaining, just because look how big this freaking can is. It's awesome. But anyway, like I said, this is going to be a review of the Acase Leather Case cover for the iPad 3rd generation, which I do have right here, but also for the iPad 2. Does work pretty much the same way. So what I've done is I've constructed a pros and a cons list. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in with the pros. The first one is that it does have an overall sturdy build quality. I mean, you can see, hopefully I can get a close up, you can actually see the texture. It is sort of a harder material, but it still manages to feel pretty nice in the hands. It's sort of like slip resistant. If you get a grip on it, it's going to be pretty hard for this to slip out of your hands. So it does offer some good protection that way. But overall, all around, this does have a pretty good build quality. You can see we have a nice little crease here. I'll get a little more into that in just a minute. But the inside still does feel pretty nice. This stuff hasn't come flaking up or anything like that. So it does offer a pretty good sturdy build quality. The second pro I have is how much protection this thing does offer. If you're like me and you love the Apple Smart cover here, one thing you'll hate about it is that there's no protection on the back. Well, as you just saw, this offers a very nice amount of protection on the back, and and the front. Obviously, the sides each have these little like plastic tabs on them, so all the edges of your device really are covered here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this live on camera. I'm going to go from taking it out of the Smart cover. Go ahead and shut my display off here, and right into the Acase. Almost drop the iPad, but I would never do that. So I'm going to go ahead and mount these all in the corners. Not too much of a very satisfying click, however it is in there very securely. As you can see, I'm sort of wiggling it like that and it's not coming out, so it is in there pretty tightly. So that is very good to see that it won't just come falling out of there as soon as I open the tab. Now with the iPad in here, I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys around the edge of the device. Here we have our headphone jack, pretty obvious. Here we even have a little cutout for the microphone, which is awesome. Cutout for the sleep and wake button. Also for your vibration switch and your volume rocker. You have a nice cutout for your speaker grill, which is also very nice. You get a 30-pin dock connector. According to the new iPhone, like the iPhone 5 rumors, that could be going away, which I thought was very interesting. A lot of people would be pretty angry about that with the hundreds of dollars in iPods accessories. But anyway, moving back to this video, and this side is just plain, simply because there's nothing there. And moving to the back, we also have your cutout for the camera. Lines up very well. This does not interfere with the pictures whatsoever. I've taken many, and I've never had that, that circle effect that some cases give off. So I would assume that's mainly from flash, which the iPad doesn't have anyway. But point being, the camera does work very nicely with that cutout. Now, with the iPad in the case, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that this does indeed have some of the Smart cover features, which are, first off, the magnets, so it does sleep to wake as soon as you open it, which is a very nice feature. I love it now. I love not having to slide to unlock the bar there. But also, not only does it have the magnets, which of course puts it to sleep and wakes it up, this thing also does act as a stand. So with that folded back, try to do this the best way that I can. That's what that little crease is for on the front there. I figured that most of you guys knew what that was, but in case you didn't, that is why. And now this can simply be tucked right into there and can be used for the traditional typing, as well as watching, say, a movie. So it does work very well. And leading into the last pro I have, the price of this case for the features and protection you get is very, very nice. It runs for about $25 on Amazon, which is great, especially considering when something like, if I can get it here, the iPad runs for roughly, like, what is it, $40 or $50, whereas, this runs for about half of that, and you get much more protection, and basically all the same features. It just doesn't look as cool. So moving on to the cons for this case, I really only have two, and the first one deals with this guy right back here. Now there's basically two reasons that I'm not the biggest fan of this. The first one is, let's say for example I'm doing some typing and I have the flap tucked into the little tabby thing here, right there, and say for example if I hold it like this, like with one hand down beneath, it does come out like very easily. Sometimes like if I have it on my lap and I'm typing and I want to inch it a little bit closer, even the slightest movement will cause that to slip out of there, and so I have to tuck that flap back in. So that's not the best solution for that. I think maybe if this was a little more snug, then it might fit it better. Maybe if it was like had some more push on it like that. And the other reason I don't really like this little back thing here is that if you want to set it down on a table like this, it's not level, and little things like that do sort of get to me. It's not a huge deal by any means at all, because usually my solution is to just set it down like this, and then it is 100% level. The second con I have, which may or may not work out on camera, is that sometimes this little flap isn't really level. So like if I have the iPad up in a video mode like this, I think even now you can probably barely tell, and that's how little of a con it is. Trust me, I'm sort of like OCD when it comes to stuff like this, but this side actually is like up, so sometimes it's worse than it is now, but sometimes it sort of feels like it's like this, sort of tilted up a little bit, but that could be maybe the way I have this in there, maybe it's sort of like that. So you do have to sort of like be careful if you're one of those people that really like to have a nice level screen. You really have to make sure you tuck the flap in just right, otherwise you'll sort of feel like your iPad is sort of, you know, crooked up like that. But other than that, I really don't have any more cons to this case. It does offer a very nice experience. It's very cheap, considering the protection and all the features you get. So at the end of the day, I can definitely highly recommend this case, especially for 25 bucks. It does do a very nice job. So from the good build quality to, you know, the all the I/O lining up perfectly to the amount of protection and a nice soft material on the inside, I do think this is a great buy if you're looking for an iPad case, one that's more for protection and not necessarily for looks. So before I ramble anymore, thank you guys very much for watching. I'm at CPUKid on Twitter. Also be sure to check out RocheTechnology.com and RocheTechnology on Twitter for all of the blog post updates and things like that. Go ahead and check out Acase.com right there down below. They have tons of great iPad accessories, other mobile accessories, so go ahead and check those out. And before I ramble anymore, thank you guys very much for watching.